All right, we are live on 2 platforms, I think. Let me get the stuff going here. I'm going to get the Amazon one going now. All right, so we are up and running. And we're going to start this in a minute or two. What we're going to do first is unbox this box, and then we will plug it into stuff and see how it works. All right, so now, all right, we're good to go there. We've got some people stopping in, and I think we're good on Amazon. So I think we can get the show on the road, huh? Yeah, I got 21. I know a lot of people are interested in these, and I think the interest level is not from its augmented reality capabilities, but rather it's this, like the private display thing. And what I'm going to be doing while we unbox this is record the unboxing for my extras channel. William Wilkinson is here. Hello there. Joe Tyson is here. Good to see you again. Can always count on you guys. Whenever I click the stream button, you appear. Nick Forsopa is here. Neuropilot is here. All right. Algeron is here. And Phil G is here. Good to see you all. All right, so let me hit the record button. And David Langley is here from the UK. Looks like the notifications are going out. Matt K is joining us on Amazon. Good to see you. Yeah, so this is the box that it came in. And it's not a very big box. I was surprised by how small it is. And what I'm going to do later is we're going to plug it into my Steam Deck. And we'll plug it into my iPad Air and my Mac. Apparently, I haven't taken it out of the box yet, but I've been studying up on this, is that this needs like a USB-C connector, because I don't think it has any power on its own. And I don't think it works, it definitely doesn't work as a VR headset, because it only does 3 degrees of freedom. So that's kind of the gist of it. But if it works well as a personal display, I think that might work for folks. Neuropilot, thanks. Yep, you're from San Francisco. Good to see you again. I think, and if I remember correctly, you are a pilot, right? Matt K joining us in both places. And Rick is here from Northern Virginia. And I am a lion of AR glasses. So let me zoom in a little bit on it here, get it ready for the reveal. Okay, so why don't we open it up. Let me get rid of this piece of noisy paper behind me there. Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's open it up here and see what is inside the box. Now, these are not virtual reality glasses. They have an AR function if your phone is compatible, and there's not many phones that are, believe it or not. So I think the big use case, again, will be as a personal display. They do support 3 degrees of freedom, which means that you can look up and down and left and right, but you can't like move your head closer to things like you could on a VR headset. So here are the glasses themselves. I don't think these are powered with a battery, so you have to plug them into a USB Type-C capable device. And you can see how things are configured here. You've got the displays that sit underneath the brim here. And I'm going to put them on real quick just so you can see what they look like. And I think there might be some plastic on it because it's definitely obscuring what I can see right now. So I'll take a look and see if there's something to peel off of it as we get further into the box here. Get a nice carrying case. And inside the carrying case, we've got a USB Type-C cable. And that cable will plug in somewhere on the glasses here, which I will find as we work our way through. There are some controls underneath here along with some speakers. So pretty cool. All right, so let's take a look at what else we've got in here. Now, apparently there are some different nose bridge adjustments here, and I think they have these for comfort, but also for people who have glasses, so you can adjust for corrected vision, which I'm going to be needing soon. And then, yeah, that's what these are for. So these are for people that I think are nearsighted. And then they also have a blocker here, which you put over the front of the glasses, and that will block out all the ambient things around you, so all you see is the glasses. So if you're on a flight and you just want to watch a movie without seeing anything else, you just put these over the top, it looks like. The snap-on, it appears. Yeah, there they go. And then you can get total darkness for what you're watching. Inside, it has an OLED display, and we'll talk about how the image looks as we work our way through the video here, and I'll pull off the plastic. And this is running at a 1080p resolution, essentially, across 2 eyes. At the moment, the instructions or the specifications say this doesn't support 3D movies, so that will probably come later. 3D is not as big of a deal as it used to be, but it's certainly coming, something you could want to do on something like this. Now, I will say now with that plastic off, it looks like a pair of sunglasses. You do see where the screen ends, though, and the bottom of the glasses here. So when I finally get ready to boot these things up, we'll see what the display looks like. But there's definitely a large area here I see on the bottom where that glass portion where the display ends, and I can still see underneath it. All right, so that's that part. And I'm trying to figure out where you plug them in. Where is the plug? I would imagine it's somewhere. Oh, it's on the back. Okay, look at that right there. What's under this one? Nothing. Okay. All right, so let me play this back real quick, and I'll take some questions if there are any. Rossi is here from San Antonio. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's one, again, on my bucket list is to start doing some flying. And Rick said that was a typo. That's okay. I'll take it. Let me just get this clip put together here, and we'll continue on in a second. Bear with me for 1 second, folks. 3, 2, 1. Playing it back, the bottom ends, and I can still see underneath it. All right. My Steam Deck fell down, but I got it back. All right, let me see what these things, these must be like for corrected vision, I guess. Yeah, I'm probably not going to use those yet. Yeah, I mean, out of the box, they feel pretty comfortable, as you can see. But like I said, there's a definite division where that screen ends. Okay. Yeah, and I've got a link in the video description to my Amazon stream page where you can see what it costs. These are available now. I paid for this, by the way. So this is not a freebie. And if I don't end up keeping these, one of you can own it. And one of our future one of our future live stream sales will likely. All right, so now here's the thing. I was looking on their website for configuration on this, and the trick with this is that there's a very limited number of phones that are actually compatible with it. And the reason is that this doesn't have any battery built in. So if you try to turn it on, it's not going to come on because it needs power. So it gets all of its power from the computer. And the only way you can you have to actually activate the product before you even use it. So I have, the only phone that I think might be compatible, is not this one, is this Samsung phone. It's like an S8. So we'll see how this works. Now, the other thing with this is that because this requires a phone and a compatible phone, You can't just have the glasses stand alone and stream on their own. There's nothing inside of it that actually runs. And Chris Allegretta is absolutely correct about the limited phone compatibility. And then the other thing that I learned is that, so I may have to activate this the hard way. We'll find out. The other thing that I learned in the course of my research on this is that to use it with the Nintendo Switch or with the iPhone, you need to get another device because you have to be able to power the, you have to be able to power it. So if the device cannot provide power, and that's the compatibility problem, if your phone cannot provide power, then you don't get any of the AR functionality. And the other thing is that if it doesn't work with it, you're going to have to, sorry, I'm just trying to get all my stuff together here. If your phone doesn't work with it, you have to activate it the manual way, which is the harder way. So that's how that works. All right, so let me get some things combobulated here. And I'm going to try later to shoot the inside of the lenses so we can try to get a view of what it looks like inside of it. And I'm not sure how well that's going to go either. That's what they look like here. All right. And I think I'm going to try to get my camera a little more even here. Okay. So what we're going to do is power this phone up. Again, this is an old S8. Like I said, it's the only phone that I have that is capable. And so there is a $60 add-on dongle, as Andy points out, that you need for that. So if your computer cannot output USB-C video, you're out of luck. And the cable's not all that long either, but I guess it's kind of a, you know, it's a personal device, right? So that's probably why they went that route. All right, let me get some stuff cleaned up here. So unfortunately, this will not help because there's only one port on the glasses on the back here. All right, so we're going to try this out. I've got the app here on this phone. And let me just load it up here real quick. I got to find it on my, where'd it go? It's called, and the other confusing thing is it's called Nebula, which is what Anchor calls their stuff. So that was, I can imagine there being some, perhaps some issues there. And I think I probably have to log into this first too, huh? Log in. All right, let me do this real quick and see if I can get this set up so I can get going here. So give me 1 second here, folks. And let's see. Today is oops, I got to sign up. All right, let's do, I'm just going to sign up with Google here. That doesn't seem to work either. All right, bear with me for 1 second, folks. I'm just going to sign in with my, my Google account just to make it easier. Here, you can look at the glasses while I poke around with that here for a second. Yeah, so I think you got to check the compatibility. Although I think there's definitely more potential with this because it does work as a display, which again I think is going to be the primary use case for it. And let me just do a quick little authentication here. Okay, so now I got to set up a password here real quick, which I was hoping to avoid by using my my Google account, but that was such luck. All right, hang on a second. I gotta get my stupid password manager going now. Passwords are really should be obsolete at this point, you know? So bear with me for 1 second. I just got to make a note of this password before I forget it. Okay. All right. Go. Okay, so it appears that I have logged in. All right. So we're going to give this a shot here with this phone. This phone, by the way, is not on the list of compatible phones. And Chris has got the same problem that I've got here too. Yeah, let me pull up the list of. So this is a Galaxy S8. Yeah, so it looks like the S20 is like the. Yeah, so we'll see if maybe we can coax it along, but yeah, it's limited to a very small number of phones. And that's for the AR features, but for some of the other features, I think we might be able to get something out of it. All right, so let me get my overhead shot situated here. There we go. Okay, let's pick it up here. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're going to try to get this working. One of the issues with these is that the compatibility for augmented reality is very limited to a small number of phones from LG, OnePlus, Oppo, Samsung, and Sony. And of course, it's not going across the whole line. I don't have a compatible phone, although the closest compatible phone I have is this Galaxy S8. And I believe what this is requiring is a phone that can output video and power over its USB-C port, because on the back of the glasses, the only port you have is a USB-C port, which this plugs into. So I'm going to attach the glasses now, and let's see if we're able to get these to work with this phone here. And it does seem like it is allowing us to do some stuff. I actually got a Dex message on here too, which is encouraging. And now it has me logging back into the account that I just set up. This is another one of these products that has an awful process of getting set up here. I already created the account, but it's asking me to log in again. So let me go do that real quick, and we'll come back and see how it works. All right, so let me just mark that clip. Bert wants to know, big fan of my Shield TV. Yes, I am still using them. In fact, I have one upstairs. And actually, I got one on most of my TVs. Well, I'm starting to use the Apple TV a little bit, but the Shield is still one of my main boxes. Give me a sec. I just want to play this back real quick. Here, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're going to try to get this working. One of the issues with these is that the compatibility for augmented reality is very limited to a small number of phones from LG, OnePlus, Oppo, Samsung, and Sony. And of course, it's not going across the whole line. I don't have a compatible phone, although the closest compatible phone I have is this Galaxy S8. And I believe what this is requiring is a phone that can output video and power over its USB-C port, because on the back of the glasses, the only port you have is a USB-C port, which this plugs into. So I'm going to attach the glasses now, and let's see if we're able to get these to work with this phone here. And it does seem like it is allowing us to do some stuff. I actually got a Dex message on here too, which is encouraging. And now it has me logging back into the account that I just set up. This is another one of these products that has an awful process of getting set up here. I already created the account, but it's asking me to log in again. So let me go do that real quick, and we'll come back and see how it works. Okay, so I saw something briefly. To use your Nreal glasses successfully, please open. All right, I did that already. All right, let me see what happens when I put them back on here. I did see an image for a brief minute. Let me see. I can turn it back on again, maybe. put my glasses on. Here, let me unplug it and plug it back in again. It did appear as though they activated, so that's a good sign. Okay, so now it says HDMI connected. Oh, I see DeX popping up here. And the other thing is, I may have to change these things because it's way too high, and then it just disappeared. Great. So I think this is getting confused by DeX. So I may disable DeX real quick and see if that, yeah, I'll get to everybody's questions here in a minute. But this is definitely, I think DeX is going to be something people want to do, but I'm going to turn DeX off for a second because I think it's colliding with how this is supposed to work. So let me go and disable DeX real quick. I will say, though, the image looked great for the short moment that it was on. This will not work with the Pixel phones. And the reason it won't work with the Pixel phones, hang on, let me send this over again here. Oh, it didn't pop up, did it? Oh, you know why? Because I closed, shoot, hang on a second, everybody. Title. Give me a second, I'll put the, there we go. That's not the one I wanted. I closed my thing out by accident. There we go. This will not work with the Pixel phone. And the reason it will not is because, how come that didn't work? Hang on a second. Send. There it goes. Because Pixels do not have an HDMI output on them. So let me just go ahead here and disable DeX. I'm not sure how to turn DeX off, to be quite honest with you. And review for you, thank you for the follow. We're just trying to figure this out real quick. And we'll see if we can get these working here. And I got to look up also, question on weight. They don't feel that heavy. They feel about what, like what a pair of sunglasses might feel like. And let's see if I can coax these things to come back on. Yeah, it looks like for whatever reason, like this DeX thing is taken over and then it just like craps out on me here. So let's go back to, I can't see, actually makes my eyesight worse. So let me see if I can find where to turn DeX off. He's under display maybe? So what goes through the cable is HDMI and power. So the way to think of these, I think, is as a, think of them as a, sorry, I'm trying to multitask, as an external display. All right, I'm going to turn DeX off. I'm going to force it to stop, if it lets me. And let's see if that might help here. This is an app on the thing that I can, Samsung, Galaxy Store. And no, if you wear glasses, they do have some additional bridges on there to make that better. So they do say it's compatible with glasses. Before I do the review, I'll have my wife put them on and see how she does with it. All All right, let's see. Now it's, oh, see, now it thinks it's got a connected display on it. So let me unplug it here and plug it back in again. Yeah, this is going to be, if you're using DeX, I think this is going to be a problem for Samsung users because when I plug this in, it's immediately turning DeX on. To use the glasses, enabling all permissions is required, which I did. Okay, so I'm going to plug these in now. And when I plug it in, I get HDMI connected on the phone, use this account to activate glasses, and then it disconnects. Yeah, now I see Samsung DeX loading up. And I have to put them down to like my nose here to be able to see it. Otherwise, it's like up too high. Yeah. So I'm going to have to change the bridges out on these. And this is like one of those things. Every piece of AR technology that or VR that I play around with, there's always like things that don't work right. You know, like everyone's eyes are different. All right, so now it's telling me to use your Nreal glasses successfully. Please open. I did that already. All right, so I need to figure out how the heck you turn off DeX. So somebody needs to give me some. Select the Samsung DeX switch and place it in the off. Okay, so let's try that real quick. So where is that? Because is it in the settings maybe? Let me go into the settings here. Advanced features, maybe? I remember going through a whole rigmarole to get DeX to work in the first place, because that was something, we had reviewed a docking station years ago that people were curious about that with. Let me turn this, unplug this here. HDMI mode, here we go. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn it on to screen mirroring. So that should disable DeX when I plug HDMI in. Okay. And ultimately, this may not work at all because this phone is not a compatible one. And CF says we've been laughing. Well, you know what's funny is last night I was playing. You know, they had the new No Man's Sky update come out. So whenever there's a new like big update, I jump back into it. So I've been playing it for the last couple of days on my Steam Deck. I started a new game, and then I went upstairs to my my computer and put my VR headset on and played for about an hour and a half. I have a Oculus, or now a Meta Quest 2, and when you take it off, your face is like you have a big mark on your face. Like that's the thing. Who's going to do any of this stuff? Like, you know, Zuckerberg thinks everyone's going to put these things on their head all day long. I get a headache. I am a tech nerd. I have a headache after an hour and a half with it. All right, let's try this again now. So we're going to go back here. And like most of my live streams, things never work right. So that's kind of how things go. So I'm going to put these on. And let's see how this works. I will say that the display, from what little I have seen of it so far, is actually pretty good. All right, so I've got it on now. I'm going to use my account here to activate the glasses. And now, okay, yep, there we go, Nebula. And now allow Nebula to use Air glasses. Okay. 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 Okay, now we go. Glasses control unit is being updated. Please keep the glasses connected. My goodness. Okay, okay. This is not a very friendly starting point. Yeah, I think you have to have DeX off to start because that's what was messing us up here. Okay, your Nreal glasses are activated. The good news is that this is working, so that's good. All right, so now, oh, HDMI disconnected. Mode switch completed. You are now using full screen mode. Okay, HDMI connected. All right, next, okay. And unfortunately, you can't see what I see. But I don't see anything right now. Oh, display mode mismatched. The MR space mode is needed. What the heck does that mean? The operating system, okay, so this phone, unless I can figure out a way to get Android updated on it. Great, okay, so we're not gonna be able to do that. AR casting is working. So at least I got him activated. Yeah, so what I see right now, I guess what I need to do is figure out how to get these, the screen needs to get lower or my eyes need to get higher is basically what I need to do here. Because the bottom is getting cut off. So like they need to be, they're just too high. But I will say, even like in my, now if I look at the studio light up here, you know, it certainly drowns it out, but in regular room lighting, it is super crisp. Like it's really nice and bright. So that's pretty impressive. It looks good. It's at a distance, so it looks like it's, you know, maybe, I don't know, about 10 feet away is kind of what it looks like. I think that's what it looks like right now. So let me go and see if I can figure out how to lower. Maybe we can consult the instructions before I move on here, right? So the AR stuff is not going to be something I can test on these, unfortunately. And yes, I am doing this live as we go here. Okay, so we have a light shield, we have the Nreal Air, we've got the prescription lens frame, we have the removable cable in the case, okay. There is an adjustable temple, but I think that only adjusts in and out. It doesn't go up and down, does it? Because that's what I need to adjust is the temple. So how do you adjust the temple? So there's a brightness button. So that's not a volume button, but a brightness button. And there's a microphone on these also. Yeah, face modification required. All right, so the nose pad, prescription lenses, pad attachments. If you use prescription lenses, connect the lenses and the nose pod and then attach them together to the chassis. So the temple only adjusts out, not, oh, it does, okay. Position adjustment for best gaze angle. So there's a adjustment. Oh, that doesn't sound very good, does it? Oops. So I think that might do it. Let me see if that fixes it. Let's see. Oh, now the screen's off. It's very easy to hit the button. Yeah, that's not working. So I got to go up. So this might be an issue like a lot of these other things are, which is that this may not work with my head. Like, unless I'm putting them like on the end of my nose, I'm not seeing the whole screen. Yeah, it's not working. I guess maybe the bridge, if I can, you know what I need is another one, a different bridge. So we're going to have to swap this out. This might be a good experiment here. Okay, so Kay Erickson's wondering, how much do these cost? How much to test? I'm not sure what you're asking. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to have to make some adjustments here. Yeah, so I moved the arms down, but it's not giving me, I'm not getting enough of an angle. That's as low as it goes. And I'm still, in fact, I'm seeing less now than I was before. And if I go back to where they started at, it actually needs to go higher for me, or I could put it on the end of my nose here. So I think we're going to have to swap this out because I'm not seeing enough of this. I can't see everything. Yeah, it's not good. It looks great, but I'm not able to get the whole image on in my field of view. All right, so now I need to look at some of those other bridge pieces. So one of those might help. So let's go back and find the pieces that I discarded earlier on. And Dan says the bridge is a bit of a pain to pull out. So Paul C. is wondering about the battery life. So the battery on these there's no battery at all. So it relies on the host device, the thing you plug it into, which will add some, I think, potentially some layers of complexity. All right, so let's do a bridge swap here. Chris says, the good news is I look great. Thank you. Well, they certainly look a lot better than my Google Glasses did, don't they? All right, so here's my bridge options. I'm not sure how any of these are going to make a difference, but let's see. So there's LS. What does that refer to? The size of your nose? Large nose? Small nose? All right, so let me unplug these from the back here. And actually, what I want to do is see where I left off in my last clip. And no, this is USB-C power. So the best, like I said, the best way to look at these is as follows. You know those portable displays that we look at? I got another one in recently, by the way. Those portable displays that we get in from time to time, those are powered by the USB-C, and it also provides video. So if your phone or device cannot provide enough power and the HDMI at the same time, these aren't going to work. So what I've got on the desk are things that will work, which are this Samsung phone, which I got to figure out a way to get a more recent version of Android on. My Steam Deck should work with it, and the iPad mini should work with it. But the problem that I have, and this is what we're going to try to adjust next, is that I can't get the field of view right. Even if I rotate this down, like I'm missing part of the image here. So maybe that works, but it's not very comfortable. Like it's still kind of, the bottom is still on the bottom of the image. So if I pull it, this is going to be a, all right, so let's figure this out. I got to bob my head some more, right? Yeah, look like Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder or somebody, right? Who was I talking to? A friend of mine a friend of mine's a radio DJ or something. He was on a plane with Ray Charles, and Ray Charles dropped his airline ticket stub, and he kept it. And he put it on Facebook the other day. So that was a fun thing there. Okay, let me see where I left off on my clip here. I'm doing an unboxing video, so let me just play this back real quick. And here, I already created the account, but it's asking me to log in again. So let me go do that real quick, and we'll come back and see how it works. Okay. So let me pick it up from here. 3, 2, 1. All right, so I was able to get things activated. You do have to activate the glasses before you use them. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we were able to get the glasses activated with this phone, although it is not compatible with the AR space because it is too old. But I am getting an HDMI image out of the phone to the glasses, and it does look very nice, even in my room lighting here. If I point them at the lights that are illuminating me, of course, I can't see the image. It gets washed out. But even just looking a little bit away gets me a very nice, crisp, and clean image. The problem that I'm running into, though, so far is twofold. One, I had to disable DeX on this phone to get this activated. I can reactivate DeX after I am done trying to get the fit down on this. And fit is the issue I'm running into right now, because when I put these on, the only way I can see the full image is to kind of contort this thing in a way that is not very comfortable. So as I noted earlier, the lenses are very high on the glasses here, and the result for my anatomy here is that I am seeing the image basically start where my hands are and getting cut off over here. So I have to get this these glasses positioned in a way that I can see things better. Now there are some adjustments on the glasses frame here. So this will move up and down in 3 different positions. You can hear it clicking as I move it, but this didn't help at all. In fact, it made it worse. So I'm going to need to, I think, swap out the bridge piece here with one of the other ones. Now they have labeled these S and L, and I'm assuming this one might be medium, which might be referring to the size of my nose. So I need to pull this one out somehow without scratching anything. So I need to figure that out. So let me swap this out. I'm going to try the L first and see if that solves my problem. I'll let you know how it looks when I'm done. All right, so let's get to that part there. Trigger W says, haven't we been working on this technology since the 80s? And you know what? You are correct that we have been dealing with this since the 80s. And the display technology hasn't really been there. So that's part of it. So Craig said, didn't the instructions show that you can extend the arms to make it longer? Let's take a look and see what the instructions say here. I don't think making it longer is going to help, but let's see if it does let us do that. So this is the angle one, and it looks like it can move out that way, but not longer. Oh, there's an actual thing, which I thought was garbage, that needs to be used to separate. Jeez, where did it go? This thing. Okay, so you don't want to lose this thing, because this is what it uses to separate the... All right, so let me unplug these so that we can do this right. All right, so I'm going to try the large one, assuming that that's my problem. And that might have it sit lower on the nose. So let's try this. This is why I do these streams, by the way. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm supposed to slide that in. This definitely feels like the minimally viable product, right? All right, I slid that in, and now what? I slide it in and then pull it out. Do not read more into that. No, that's not coming out. All right, so iNet says do the small one, not the large one. Okay, so maybe I will. So if you have a big nose, use the small one. Is that the prescribed? Yeah, I thought this was just some kind of filler thing, but apparently this is the tool that you use to pop this thing out, but it's not coming out. There it goes. Okay. Wow, that is scary. Like it really comes flying out at you. And it is a medium. So we're going to put the small one in as advised. So let's try that first. How do you get it in? You got to, I guess you got to push it in to stick it back in too, huh? This is awful. Can you imagine like this is the onboarding process? Am I backwards? Hang on. I think I was backwards. Yeah. I think that's great. I may have to refer to the video now to see. There it goes. Okay, that snapped back in. Okay, so let's try it now. All right, let me plug this back in and see what it looks like. All right, this is with the small bridge. Now, it's even worse. Nope. I mean, if I wear it like down here, so I'm going to try the other one. It's like it's almost exactly the same problem. So I have to wear it like on the end of my nose to really, are my eyes just that bad? I don't know. Yeah, these definitely don't extend. So I'm going to pop this one off, and we'll try the large one. So Mark Dell likes them. So maybe Mark Dell can tell me what I'm doing wrong. I can't get the image to like center itself in my field of view. All right, so that is the small. And let's put the large ones in and see if that makes a difference. And you know what I might do is plug them into my Mac and just see if that makes, you know, if it's not as tall of a screen. All right, this might work better. Let's see. And Crab Donkey says try no bridge. Well, that's not a bad idea. Let's see here. All right, got some followers here who are enjoying this disaster in progress here. Kay Erickson, Paul C, Trigger W, and PJ Walker. Thank you for following. All right, so now, this is the worst of all of them. So let me tilt this up then. Nah, this is not any good either. All right, so you know what I'm going to do now then is I'm going to plug it into the Mac and see if this fares better with like a regular display output here. So let's plug this in. All right, so now I'm plugging the Mac in. And okay. Yeah, it's not. I can't see the bottom of the screen. Like I cannot see the whole screen comfortably. If I put them like here, I can. But it's got to be like if I wear it in the most comfortable spot, I will say though, the image quality is spectacular. Like it's nice and bright and clear. It does look like a very big screen in front of me. But I'm having a really hard time getting these to be comfortable. And again, I'm seeing the bottom of the screen, so I see the whole image, but yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I am tilting them. I've been adjusting the tilt on it. So that's all the way down. This is all the way up. So all the way up seems to work the best. If I go all the way down, it tilts them down too far. I must have like a very unusual face shape because I have a lot of, like I had trouble with the, so John says maybe the adjustment should be bent backwards toward my face. Like if I can move it in closer, that might work. But yeah, so the Mac is, let me see what resolution it's at. I will pull it up on the screen here. So the Mac is at 1080p, is I believe what it's sending it. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's sending a 1080p image. It looks great. The contrast ratio is remarkable. I have normal vision. Well, I don't have. I need to get glasses, but it's not the clarity or the focus. But it's the fact that where the screen is located. I'll show you what I mean here. Is where the screen is located. As you can see, they're higher up in the lens here. So, and it's unfortunate I can't figure out a way to show you a camera image here. But the way the screen is oriented, based on where my eyes are and where this bridge is aligning, I cannot get the whole screen comfortably in my field of view. So that's the issue. So, yeah, I look cool, right? I mean, this is like 21st century nerd right here. Yeah, so it's either too high or too low. It's not, I can't get it into the right spot. Neuropilot wants to know if I ever talked. No, I do need to go to the optometrist. But I think what I'm dealing with here, and this was the same issue with the valve index that I dealt with, is that for whatever reason, my head shape or nose configuration to where my eyes are, is just not like most people. That's why I'm so incredibly good looking, right? No. Yeah, so it's just, it needs to nudge down a little bit lower or up higher. You know what I mean? Like I can't look forward. If I look forward, I don't, so I can't get it to be in a good spot. But my gosh, it looks, I mean, the image quality is spectacular on this. Yeah, so Dan says go back to the small nose bridge. Let me try that, and let's see if that improves things. And Andy says try it without the nose thing. I guess you could. I guess that would definitely kill the comfort level, wouldn't it? So Lou Cipher, thank you for the follow on Amazon. All right, so let's pop this out here. One thing that's going to be really hard to do with these in a review video is actually show you how it works. Unless I can figure out some way to get the get it recorded. Now what you have to do is you got to pop in this little tool and then pull it out. So you got to find the one that works for you and then pop the tool in to pop it out. And it's got to stay in there. There it goes. Okay. You really got to force it out. I hate forcing things, but that's the only way here. All right, so let's pop the small one in. They do pop in easier than they pop out. Yeah, so the screen itself is locked in place, and it looks like what it's doing is it's projecting it down from the top. Here, let's plug the Mac back in and see what happens, see if we can see an image out of it. So I'm going to hold on my finger. Yeah, so there you can see it better now. Oops. It's really hard to see, but you can see the image in there. So what it does is it projects it down, and this is like a reflector. So it's almost like a like one of those teleprompters. And I agree completely with this, Chris, because you can't even activate it without a compatible phone unless you go on their website and do this whole rigmarole with it. Okay, so yeah, this is not. None of the bridges are really working for me. And so so when I position it down, so this is the lowest position for this, it's too low. So what I see is like the screen here, and it cuts off the bottom. This is with the small bridge. The small bridge is probably the worst one. If I like squeeze it onto my head, but even then I'm not getting, the bottom is not comfortable to look at. Like it needs to be a little bit higher in my field of vision. All right, let's see if we can get it up to the camera here. You can see what it looks like. It's hard to see, but like that's my desktop, so I'll move the window here so you can kind of get a feel for it. See that? It's incredibly, the clarity is very, very good on it. I have no complaints about the quality. I mean, let's record this real quick. It's just the comfort issue here is what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to try the medium again and see if I can get that to work. This is a good question from Matt K. Maybe there's a setting on the phone that can adjust the position of the screen in the display. So why don't we, that's a great idea. Let's go back and look on the phone and see what settings we have as we play around with this a bit more. Oops, wrong one. Let's see. Yeah, there's no third-person view. Users can view and record others' AR scenes in real time. Well, that's great if I could do that, but I can't. I don't even have an AR-compatible phone here. AR casting. Oh, let's try to go back in there. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a setting to adjust the position of the display. And it's even worse when you have a long screen like this because it totally gets cut off at the bottom. I mean, yeah, it's just not, it's not doing it for me. All right, so let me try no bridge. Yeah, the boomer generation is not compatible. Now, apparently they're supposed to go out this way too. Doesn't seem to do that. It goes up and down, but not that way. I guess it just moves in that direction maybe. Okay, so let's try a different bridge, or no bridge. I bet you that's going to work the best, is no bridge. So let's see how that looks on it. Yeah, but I will say, at least for my face, I am having a really hard time getting a full image to display properly. I am getting better at pulling these things out. Okay, so no bridge. Let me plug this into the computer again. So we're going to do that, no bridge. So we'll plug it into my Mac. Yeah, so far, bottom line, image looks great. Beautiful image quality. And that's without even putting the light blocker thing on. All right, so, so no bridge. Yeah, actually, if I don't have a bridge on at all, it actually is better. But now it's way too low. So let's go. Yeah, this is actually the best so far. So it's clearly an issue with the bridge. But I'm able to see the image much more comfortably now. So I'm getting a sense as to what the issue is. It looks great though. I'm really impressed with the image quality. So like for watching a movie, it's going to be great if I can just get the right bridge on there. So let's go back to the medium. And I guess what it's going to come down to is just finding the right bridge to wear, huh? So these do not have a dipole adjustment on them. And actually, they're not really pushing the 3D on this at all. Yeah, so this is the medium. And I guess if you really push the bridge down, maybe that's what you're supposed to do with this. It's still a little too low on the medium, but I'm starting to figure it out a little bit here. So I'm going to put the large one back on one more time. So I think for me, what I've got to do is I've got to get this as low on my nose as possible and see what happens here. And so, okay, so just quick on the app. Yeah, so it's just two things. There's more and glasses. So this is the glasses setting, and that's the more. So if I had a compatible phone, which I don't, I could go into the AR space. But this is only a 3 degree of freedom device. So that means that you can look left, right, up, down, tilt, whatever, but you can't like move your head around like a VR headset would. All right. So I'm going to put the large back on. And I guess I think what it's going to come down to on this is that I've got to push it down further, which is not all that comfortable, but perhaps what happens over time is that these bridges will kind of adjust to, they're just like bendable metal. So when it's time for me to get glasses, I'm going to be a real nightmare with the optometrist, I think. Does not have hand track. Yeah, so this is not a VR device by any stretch. Does not track hands. It is, I would say the best way to describe it is as a, these really take a lot of effort to get out. The best way to describe it is as a wearable screen. That's really what it's going to be used for. Because most people are not going to have the phone that can do that kind of thing with it. And we can't even try it with the Switch because it needs to get power through, I'm not sure how many times it's also rated for this removal process here. All right, so we're going to put the large back on. My big schnoz here. All right, so now I've got the large back on. Okay, so let's try this again. It's weird, like the large is the worst. Okay, that's not. I guess I could live with it. It's just not where I want the image. I want the image a little higher. Yeah, so that's, I think that's, I can see it, I can see everything in the screen here. As John says here, large and bend the bridges wide. David says Arnold might be out of a job. And yes, so this is exactly, hey, Dr. 47. So Dr. 47 is a friend of mine, a lifelong computer friend of mine. Toby, or Dr. 47 and I used to be on the local BBS scene together. But yeah, they are once you activate them, so there's an activation process. But once they're activated, they will work as a USB-C monitor, and they're powered by the host. So as long as you've got power, you're good on the host. And Zin, whereas his pretty low on the nose too. Yes, I think that's going to be the key, right? It's just getting it as low on the nose as possible. And to some degree, I had this issue with the Google Glass because they put that display so high on the Google Glass, you're always looking up. Yeah, there you go. Spray foam it. Yeah, I think Apple would probably clear everybody out. So yeah, I will try it with the Steam Deck here in a second. I just wanted to get a comfortable fit. This is probably the best I'm going to get out of it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm looking. I wish you could see my eyes. I'm looking up. Yeah, they're starting to get better, but it's still too low. Like it's hard to explain. It's just like I want the image lower so that I can look forward to see it. And I'm having to adjust my eyes up. And I guess if I tilt it down and I can't get it to sit comfortably in the lower position. Yeah, this is probably about as good as it's going to get. It just doesn't seem to. Title of the video, Lon tries different sizes. Yeah, I think that's going to be what it is. It's a shame because the image quality is really good on this. I'm very pleased with the quality of the image. Yeah, so they've got an adapter for it, for the Switch. So that's something that can work. So let me try the Steam Deck with it. And Trigger has a good point, is that I guess I can live with it. Yeah, no, I think I think that here's what I think the problem is with these. is that I think they put, this is too high up. It needs to be lower. And I guess there's probably some challenges with the optics, but it's almost exactly the same problem that the Google Glass had, which is that it sits above your normal field of vision. So because I'm having to look up, like my eyes are feeling a little fatigued, to be honest with you. All right, so let's plug in. Yeah, this is just not good. I mean, this is about as good as I can get it, and I have to keep mashing it into my head. And it's a gosh darn shame because it looks so good. And I put these on. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm seeing, so it looks great. I do see a little bit of flickering in the darker areas of the image. There you go, Chris Allegretta. He's got it. And I think this is my problem. I got a wide nose. It's my Eastern European background has made me not compatible with this product. That is the problem. But oh, it looks good. It's a shame because this is like a really nice quality image. But I am getting flickering on the screen. It's not, hey, actually it's flickering all over. Maybe it's not so great. Yeah, so I'm seeing I don't know if it's the refresh rate. Let me see here. I think I'm at 60 hertz, which is what this is rated for. I'm just checking through my display settings here. Yeah, I'm at 60 hertz. Yeah, so it's flickering. Let me plug it back into the phone and see if I get the same flicker on the phone. Yeah, I was going to spend more time on this, but I don't think I'm going to be honest with you. Like it's just. All right, let me plug the phone back in. I just want to see if this flickering is due to the Mac or if it's across the board. And then I'll plug the. Yeah, it's flickering on here too. It's almost like, for those of you that have experience with projectors, it almost looks like a little DLP kind of flickering. And the worst part is I can't show any of it because there's no way I can get my camera in there close enough. Let me see if I can get my iPhone to look at it a little better here. Let's see if we can figure out some way to finagle an image there. Yeah, so I think any of us with Eastern European backgrounds are going to have trouble with this, with our large noses. And it's funny, my nose gets bigger the older I get, and I see what my relatives all look like, so I know what's coming. All right, so let me plug it back into the Mac here for a second. So if you wear glasses, you almost wonder if this other thing that they have in here would help. I'm going to try to put that on next. So if you wear glasses, they have this thing here. You can use prescription lenses, and it's like this little add-on thing, which I have in the box here. I should put this on and see if this makes any difference. But I think the big issue here is that because the display is not taking up the full length of the glasses here, it is angled upward. And I'm not sure where this part goes. Let me look at the instructions here again. If you use prescription lenses, connect the lenses and the nose pad and then attach them together. So I may as well try this and see what this does. So this would go, I don't know what this does other than move it further away from your face. Which it looks like, it's just like a clear lens. Yeah, so John, right, it's an OLED. It's almost like it's like a little flickery pattern through the image. But let me put this, this might help me. If I put this on, let's see if this solves it, and then we can kind of figure it out. But I think I have a problem that a lot of other people are going to have too. Because at this point, like, do I see myself wearing these on a flight to watch a movie? And I can't say honestly that I am right now. So I think what's going to happen here is you're going to spend a lot of time doing what I'm doing right now, trying these different bridges and futzing around with everything until you find something that works. All right, so now it says here that you put this like that, maybe? Let's see. Let me look on the thing here. Okay, so these go over the thing that goes up. Is it like that? So I'm the worst person to be, okay, it goes like this maybe. I want to put it in like that, but that's not how it looks like. There it goes like that. Okay, it snaps in like that. Okay. So then those two things together. So if you wear glasses, this is what you wear. Now let's see. So what this does is this could do it. This moves it further back. But it doesn't, these lenses don't do anything optically to the image. All right, so now, it's definitely, it's like a spacer. So it's further up. It's not as close to my head as it was before. Yeah, and you're always going to have a wire coming off because it needs this for power and for video. Yeah, this doesn't do anything. No, so this is just for people that wear glasses. And no, it's very limited in its compatibility. So there's a list on their website of phones that are compatible. Let me put the thing back on here, see if I can see the flickering. So John says that there's some faulty units. Yeah, I'm not seeing the flickering now. I wonder if it's on after it's on for a little while. Brandon says, I'm styling today. Yeah, getting there. So Neuropilot says that he has some pilot friends who have Eastern European ancestry and they custom fit consumer display glasses. So it looks like this is a problem for us Eastern European people who have a larger nose bridge. So yeah, I'm not seeing the flickering like I was before. So maybe that connection was bad. So Londog says, every picture I see with you with the glasses on the center of the glasses isn't lining up with your nose in the middle. Yeah, my nose is a little crooked too, which doesn't help. Yeah, so in order for this to work with your phone, here's the deal. In order for this to work with your phone, you need to have a phone that can output HDMI and power over the USB-C port. So in other words, video and power out. And if your phone doesn't have that, then it won't work. And then in the case of the iPhone, like I have here, and I'm going to pull my Amazon thing back up here. Like with my iPhone here, the iPhone can do video output. However, it doesn't provide power over its Lightning port. So in order for it to work with the iPhone, they sell you a $60 adapter to do that. So that's what you got to deal with there. All right, so what I'm going to do now is kind of revert back to the best mode that I had before, and then I'll plug in a few other things here. But yeah, I think the adjustment here for me, like, we've been at this now for what, about half hour? How long have I been streaming for? Well, I'm an hour and 14 in. So the good news is my 55-minute problem didn't happen. But you can see, like, I've been spending all this time trying to figure out how to get these to fit comfortably, which I'm still kind of not quite there yet. But I think, having people in the chat who do have them, who've had good experiences, shows you that there's probably just, you can't account for every anatomical feature, as they say. I have some stories. Maybe we'll see if I can get one of the NASA people that I've met over the years, because the bathroom situation, not for men but for women in the space program, has been very challenging. So it's not just eyeglasses where anatomy plays a role, but it's definitely a challenge here. All right, so let me put this back on again here. All right. Dr. 47 says, when you have the light blocker on, they look like peril-sensitive glasses from hitchhikers. What you don't know can't hurt you. They turn completely opaque. There you go. That's it. And Lon says, yeah, maybe it's just the nature of our name and our anatomy. All right, let me put them back on again here and see. Yeah. Yeah, I just can't get it into a good spot. So now it's too low. That's too, see that, and so, yeah, that's too high. Let's see. It's funny, when I had the bridge off was when they worked the best. That's not good. It's actually worse now than it was before. I'm not feeling them. The display looks great, but I can't get the image where I want it. And to me, I think where this would benefit, there would be some benefit. So I'm trying to see where the display ends and begins, to be able to position the display a little bit, because if I could position the display, what's being displayed to me right now, just a little bit higher. So Ryan says that Quinn Nelson did a super glowing. Yes, that's why I'm really careful about these kinds of things, because if it's not a good product, I can't recommend it. It feels like a minimally viable product, is what it feels like to me. And I say minimally viable without, like, the image quality is spectacular. I think it's got a very nice quality image. Yeah, I'm seeing the flickering again. It's not a lot of flickering, but there's definitely some flickering there. And the ergonomics are really, and I think what happens is these companies don't have the resources to hire everybody, so they probably got some really good display people. And it shows you how hard this problem is to solve. But yeah, I just can't get it centered in the right position. Yeah, I've tried all three nose pieces, Sean, so it just isn't working. But yeah, this is not going to be one that, because I've got now the largest bridge piece on right now, and if I push it down, like if I hold it like this, I can get it to where it's sort of good. But once I let go, it just goes south. If I could position, so I'm looking on inside here. Let me see if there's a way to adjust the actual position of the adjust temple. Store, yeah, 130 inches. I mean, I'll give them this. I mean, this is definitely functioning like it would. Yeah. Okay, so let me plug the Steam Deck in. Let's see how it works on the Steam Deck. Here's my Steam Deck. Let's power it up here. Yeah, I tried all three, Sean. That's what we've been doing for the last hour. Trying all three bridge pieces. None of them could get it into a comfortable spot. All right, so I got the Steam Deck up now. Let's put this, plug this in here. All right, so now I'm seeing my Steam, yeah, God. Yeah, so I can see the Steam Deck here. I mean, it just works plug and play. There's really there's nothing you need to do. Oddly though, and maybe it's the resolution, but my Steam Deck is actually lower in my field of view than the Mac was. So I'm having a really hard time. I'm just going to put these, sometimes if I put these on, it helps me. And the other thing that I'm getting, I'll have to, there's a little bit of a halo effect around the left and right hand portion of the screen. But the, yeah, it's got good stereo sound on it. So Sean said use it on a flight for 3 hours straight, with the only stress being on my neck positioning and trying to keep my neck positioning. Yeah, I guess it's just really, you know, what it really comes down to for me is I feel like it has something to do with the size of my nose. If you have a big wide nose, this is not going to work for you. And it's all due to the fact that they position the display as high as it is on the glasses. If this was lower, if it was more centered, I think it might work better. I don't know. But the way it's positioning itself, yeah, it's a flickery mess. I just can't get an image that works for me because I can't, it just doesn't feel. You know, it's funny, it works fine with the Steam Deck. Hang on, let me pull it up here. So I got the Steam Deck out here. It's funny when you have a Steam Deck 720p image displayed as large as this, it really shows you the tricks that a small display on a handheld kind of gets you. But yeah, it's just not, I just can't get a comfortable, because right now it's sitting, the image is sitting too low in the sense that it's down here. And I can't, like if I could move the glasses, if I could move the bridge and more up, that would probably do it, but. And then if I go like, yeah. I just can't get it to work. I just can't find a comfortable, otherwise I'm staring into, up into it, which is not. And I guess so maybe this is what it is. Is it designed to be like kind of laid back? Like if I lean back, it's better. Yeah, it's actually, if I do this, it's actually, I can actually see it okay, but I would have to be reclined in a position. So it's certainly more comfortable to do this leaning upwards than it is. I mean, is that the use case perhaps? Is that you're supposed to be like leaned back and not facing forward? But yeah, I would say this is going to be one of those things. It's a very, all right, so here's a good question from Trigger. Let me ask you a couple questions here. So Trigger says, would I recommend it if it fit? If it fit, I would be more enthusiastic about it. And I think the problem here, especially when you look at the manual, a lot of the manual is like how to find the fit. So that's kind of the issue. Yeah, I mean, you have to go put some Play-Doh on it or whatever. I do have access to a 3D printer, but like here's my philosophy on this stuff. Yeah, and, oh, here's another thing. So Sean's got one of these things. The Halo is a bit interesting. My wife said the same thing, but everyone didn't see it happen. And his wife has astigmatism also. But yeah, I see a little bit of a halo on the left and right-hand side of it also. Let me just exit the game here. But here's what I will say is that as far as my experience here with this, I am going to probably send these back because I just can't get a good fit. And that is going to be, that's my verdict. Because I tried everything. And part of it is, yes, I could probably 3D print something and people in full body cast. I could probably 3D print something and get get it to a place where it would work. But I don't think that should be how a product should work. It should work better. And I think the issue here is where these lenses are related to my eyes. And one of the things that you'll see on VR headsets is that they have a lot of adjustments to try to assume different people's anatomy. And I remember reading somewhere, I think on the Oculus Quest, that they made some decisions that knocked out the lower 10%, but they had to do it for cost purposes. But that's it. CF says if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. That's it. Trigger says, as a former programmer, we send products out and use customers as the beta testers to save money. Yeah, I think that's probably it, right? Well, we know what we got to fix on this next one, right? But no, it feels like the start of a good product. So I don't want to trash it, but that's the problem. And yeah, so I think I bought this on Amazon, so I think I should be able to do a thing there. Unless John, you want to pick them up, I'll sell them to you at cost. It's up to you. But it does work, yeah. So here's what I found so far. We tested it on a Mac. We tested it on a Samsung phone. Let me plug it into my iPad now. So what you need is a computer that can output video over USB Type-C. So if you have a, let me plug in my iPad here and see if it works on that. Yep, so here's my iPad. My iPad just came right up. Yep, iPad works fine. So I just plug my iPad in, and that's working fine. But again, it's just not positioned where I need the image to be positioned. So I think if you can get it into a good spot, it's going to be great. But it's going to be an issue for others. And what I don't get, they have this arduous activation process. And let me go to the page here. Which it's almost unnecessary because it's just, I mean, I think for what most people are going to use this thing for is probably going to be as an external display. Yeah, so it looks like 2 angles, 3 angles. A 3 position adjustment, which we tried, right? I'm just looking to see support. I'm just going to see where the activation, yeah, device activation. So why make people activate? I just don't get it. Like, why go through this rigmarole? I'm going to plug this into the computer again real quick. They have this activation process. And let's see, I'll give you a view of it too so you can see what I'm seeing on here. All right, so make sure your browser is Google, Chrome, or Edge. Okay, download the file. Is it going to put like some crazy browser thing on my... Okay, so let me show you what I'm seeing here. Now, I'm pretty sure this firmware updated when I plugged it into the phone earlier. But I'm just curious if there's any more settings on here that might be... So I'm going to connect. And I'm just going to try to update the firmware here and see if that... I'm not sure what's going on now. Activate. Select the downloaded firmware. Let me start this again. All right, so download the file. Connect your glasses and click connect. Oh, it's not coming up now. Hang on. So unplug these and plug them back in here. All right, so it's back up here as an image. Okay, so I'm going to click on... Oh, you can see there, can't you? You can see through there, can't you? All right, so I'm going to activate my glasses, which I did. Select the firmware file. In the pop-up window, I bet you I have my ad blocker on. That's probably why it's not working. Let's try it again. Download the file, connect. So it's not that hard of a process. It works through the browser. But I'm seeing a ton of flickering again. Yeah, this is not working, this process here. Let me go and look at, I'm just going to see if I can get a camera to... Yeah, so my verdict on these is that I think if you get a good fit, it's going to be great for you. But that is not what I have experienced for me. And that's the challenge with a lot of these things. But it doesn't seem like they accounted for every different type of face that they would come across. So that's kind of how I feel about this. All right, let me take a look at what some folks are saying here. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot to like about it, but it's just not doing it for me. All right, let me take a few more questions here, and then I'm going to, I think I got everything I need right now, to be honest with you, to do a full review. Don't lose this thing, otherwise you're never adjusting your fit. Okay. Let me go over to a different view here so we can... All right, let's take a look here, get everything situated. Yeah, the good news is that once you activate it, it works great. You plug in your, for what I was hoping to get out of it, it seems to do that. It is a display that you can wear. But the verdict for me, it doesn't work for me. All right, let's take a look. I got so many questions here. So yeah, so Sean says the lean back and recline work better. And I think that's due to where the display positions itself. It's too high. It needs to be lower on the glasses. So yeah, Barker lounger required. And as Chris says, people in full body casts will love it. Yeah, so I think if you're leaning back, it's great. Yeah, I think I'll send them I'll have my iPhone do a scan of my nose. That'll probably fix the problem. Yeah, so it looks like they're projecting onto this glass here, but not the actual lenses themselves. So it's like a two-part thing. And Zin said before they had the web page, you couldn't even activate them without one of the few compatible devices. I don't even know why they need to do that. Sean uses them at lunch with his Steam Deck, so I don't have to break out a 15.6-inch stand, a backup battery. Yeah, I'll tell you, I think it looks great. It works great with the Steam Deck, but I'm guessing there must be some proprietary code on these or something that they just want to make sure. Yeah, it's definitely too large for kids, that's for sure. So the problem with the HDMI on this is that, and I'm going to cancel the order for that adapter, so I'm not going to use it. You need an adapter in order for this to work with an HDMI device. So the reason is that you have to be able to power the glasses. So that adapter they sell has a battery built in to power the glasses. But these are definitely too big for a kid. So they will adjust outward, but not inward. So it's again, very limited, I think. But yeah, if you're leaning back, I think it's probably the ideal position. So on a plane or something, if you just put your head up. But, So that's where I'm at with it. All right. Well, I think I have enough here to do my thing with. And I was expecting to actually do more with these if they fit better. So, and it's going to be really hard to demonstrate the quality of the display. And on top of that, I have a very flickery display. It's not always flickery, but sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. And there is a bit of a halo effect around the left and right-hand side of it as well. And I think that's due, I think where that's coming from, and I need to look at it in darkness. I think where it's coming from is that you can see where the image is getting projected down from, and there is so I think what's happening is the light is reflecting back up. So that probably won't be as much of an issue in a darker environment, but you will see kind of the outline of those projection lenses in there. So that's kind of what that is going to bring to the mix. These will not work with the PS5 without the adapter, because I don't think the PS5 outputs video through the HDMI, or through the USB-C. So what you would need is that adapter that they're selling, which will give the glasses power and pass HDMI through. They will work with anything that supports a USB-C display output. So if a portable display works, they don't require drivers or anything. And you need the adapter for PS5 and for Switch. And that's right, you can't lean back on the plane anymore. They locked them out. And Sean got in his adapter. Yeah, so if you have a lightning, so my iPad with the USB-C worked fine, but the Lightning will require that adapter, and apparently it's designed to work with the, and you need the Apple adapter too. So you need the Apple Lightning to USB, Lightning to HDMI connector and their adapter in order for it to work. So you're going to spend another $100 on adapters on top of the $400 you spend already. So yeah, but hey, if it's working for you, great. I think there's people that this is working great for, but not for me. So that is it. All right, well, I'm going to go take care of a couple of things, and I've got a review coming up tonight on the Lenovo ThinkPad Z13 Gen 1. It's a very different ThinkPad, so if you're a ThinkPad fan, you might like this video because it will be a very different device than what you might be accustomed to. So we have that coming up, and then I've got a USB 4 hard drive. We'll have this. I've got another dispatch video coming up. I know a lot of you like it when I go places, so we're going to New York City on Wednesday just for the day. So it's very easy for me to get to New York, so I can just slip in and slip out. So we got that going on, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah. All right. Just looking through my notes here. Yeah, they do need they need a kids model for sure. Yeah, so it looks like the one that they're selling has it has an HDMI connector on it. Let me pull it up real quick and see if I can find it real quick. Here, I'll see if I can. So there's an HDMI male connector on it. Oh, that's going to be great. Like great in a bad way. So, oh, I see. It's got. So they have a female adapter on it also. Okay. So I see. So you plug in the connector. Here, I'll show you what it looks like here. Let me pull it up on my. Oh, do I have it? Yeah, I'll show you the picture on my computer screen. Easier. So this is the adapter. And so what happens is that the adapter, they have some pictures here. So by default, it's got an HDMI male on there, and then that interconnects with the Lightning adapter for the iPhone. But then if you want to plug a switch in, then you put the HDMI male to female in and then plug the switch in. But note, the switch is docked. You need the switch needs to be docked for this to work, because the switch won't output video unless it is docked and getting power. And it only has one connector on it. So that's another issue. So you can't take out your Switch Lite like you would a Steam Deck. The Steam Deck will power it directly. So that's how that works. All right. I think I got enough to work with here. Yeah, New York City is not Halo friendly. There's a couple places. Actually, they have a service that you can get a helicopter in Manhattan and they fly you to JFK if you don't have enough money. So what's an Ioneo? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Ioneo. Is that a similar line of products? Oh, it's a Windows handheld. Well, that looks pretty cool. Oh, it's like a gaming device. Got it. I do not have any of those coming in. All right. Well, I want to thank all my new followers. I have lots of them to thank here. So let's go through the Amazon one. Review for you: Kay Erickson, Paul C., Trigger W., PJ Walker, Lou Cipher, Tamara Green, Glenn A. Bickerstaff, Jason Voorhees, Dwight Lehman, and Anthony Sierra. And I want to thank everyone who tuned in today so we could kind of troubleshoot through this, this product here. So it definitely needs some work, I think. So version 2 will probably be better. at least for me, because I can't, and maybe it's just my nose is just too thick here. I don't know. But that was my experience. All right. Well, I'm going to get to work, finish this up, and this will be up in a couple of days. But the verdict, for me, is not good, but I can see how it might be useful and halfway decent for others. So I want to thank you all for tuning in and for your assistance in suggesting different things to try. And we will be back again before you know it. And yeah, I think it's going to, I'll be fair in my review of it. It didn't work for me, but I can see how it might work for others. Matt K, though's got a quick YouTube question. You got it. Let it rip. And thank you for your comments in. And Sean says, oh, see, this is their second product, so the light was their original one. That's right. Now, the light, I think, had 6 degrees of freedom, but this one only has 2. But yeah, what do you got to ask me on that about? I'm losing my, see, I can't even speak anymore. What would you like to ask me about, Matt K? I'm happy to answer. And thanks, Tech Nerd. This was definitely a nerdy stream today, wasn't it? All right, Matt, you got 10 seconds before I got to run here. If not, you can email. Oh, there you go. If someone doesn't watch your outro on YouTube, do you miss anything out of it? No. But maybe at some point I'll change that. We'll see. And I do have to update the outro. I haven't updated it in a while, and I got a lot of new people to add. So that will be updated soon. It takes me a lot of time because I have, it's a good problem to have, but I have supporters on YouTube memberships program. I have people on Patreon. I have people that go in via the donor box, and it's just a lot of stuff that I have to manually cobble together. But that's one of the things that I think I'll do on the train on my way back and forth from New York. So. And Nunn says, you'll need a special average size nose bridge list for notifying when these go in the store. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. Okay, everybody. I'm going to take off for now, but I will be back again before you know it. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the full review. Have a good one. Bye-bye.